Love That Dog, pages 30 through 60. February 7th. Yes, it looks good on yellow paper, but you forgot, again, to leave more space between the lines like I did when I wrote it. That's okay though. February 15. I like that poem we read today about street music in the city. My street is not in the middle of the city, so it doesn't have that loud music of horns and trucks, clash, flash, screech. My street is on the edge of a city, and it has quiet music most of the time. Wisp, meow, swish. My street is a thin one with houses on both sides, and my house is the white one with the red door. There's not too much traffic on my street, not like in the middle of a city. We play in the yards and sometimes in the street, but only if a grown-up or the big kids are out there too, and they will shout "car" if they see a car coming down our street. At both ends of our street are yellow signs that say "Caution, children at play." But sometimes the cars pay no attention and speed down the road as if they are in a big hurry with many miles to go before they sleep. February 21. That was so great, those poems you showed us, where the words make the shape of the thing that the poem is about, like the one about an apple that was shaped like an apple, and the one about the house that was shaped like a house. My brain was popping when I was looking at those poems. I never knew a poet person could do that funny kind of thing. February 26. I tried one of those poems that looks like what it's about. My Yellow Dog by Jack. March 1. Yes, you can type up the yellow dog poem that looks like a dog, but this time keep the spaces exactly the same, and maybe it would look really, really good on yellow paper. Maybe you could put my name on it, but only if you want to, only if you think it looks good enough. March 7. I was a little embarrassed when people said things to me like, "Neat poem, Jack," and "How'd you think of that, Jack?" And I really, really like the one you put up about the tree that is shaped like a tree. Not a fake-looking tree, but like a real tree with straggly branches. But I want to know, who is the anonymous poet in our class who wrote that? And why didn't he or she want to put his or her name on it? Was it like me when I didn't think my words were poems? Maybe you will tell the anonymous tree poet that his or her tree poem is really a poem, really, really, and a good poem too. March 14. That was the best poem you read yesterday by Mr. Walter Dean Myers, and the best poem ever. I'm sorry I took the book home without asking. I only got one spot on it. That's why the page is torn. I tried to get the spot out. I copied that best poem and hung it on my bedroom wall right over my bed where I can see it when I'm lying down. Maybe you could copy it too and hang it on the wall in our class where we can see it when we are sitting at our desks doing our stuff. I sure liked that poem by Mr. Walter Dean Myers called Love That Boy. Because of two reasons I liked it. One is because my dad calls me in the morning just like that. He calls, "Hey there, son." And also because when I had my yellow dog, I loved that dog. And I would call him like this. I'd say, "Hey there, Sky." His name was Sky. March 22. My yellow dog followed me everywhere. Every which way I turned, he was there, wagging his tail and slobber coming out of his mouth when he was smiling at me all the time, as if he was saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you for choosing me," and jumping up on me, his shaggy, straggly paws on my chest like he was trying to hug the insides right out of me. And when us kids were playing outside, kicking the ball, he'd chase after it and push it with his nose, push, 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 and getting slobber all over the ball. But no one cared because he was such a funny dog, that dog Sky. That straggly, furry, smiling dog, Sky. And I'd call him every morning, every evening, "Hey there, Sky." March 27. Yes. You can type up what I wrote about my dog Sky, but don't type up that other secret one I wrote, the one all folded up in the envelope with tape on it. That one uses too many of Mr. Walter Dean Myers' words, and maybe Mr. Walter Dean Myers would get mad about that. April 4. I was very glad to hear that Mr. Walter Dean Myers is not the sort of person who would get mad at a boy for using some of his words. And thank you for typing up my secret poem, the one that uses so many of Mr. Walter Dean Myers' words. And I like what you put at the top, inspired by Walter Dean Myers. That sounds good to my ears. Now no one will think I just copied because I couldn't think of my own words. They will know I was inspired by Mr. Walter Dean Myers. But don't put it on the board yet, okay? Is Mr. Walter Dean Myers a live person? And if he is, do you think he could ever come to our city, to our school, to our class? And if he did, we should hide my poem with his words, hide it real good, just in case he would get mad about that. April 9. No. No, 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 no. I can't do it. You should do it. You're a teacher. April 12. I don't agree that Mr. Walter Dean Myers might like to hear from a boy who likes his poems. I think Mr. Walter Dean Myers would like to hear from a teacher who uses big words and knows how to spell and to type. April 17. Dear Mr. Walter Dean Myers, you probably don't want to hear from me because I am only a boy and not a teacher, and I don't use big words, and you probably won't read this, or even if you do read it, you probably are way too busy to answer it, let alone do the thing I'm going to ask you, and I want you to know that's okay, because our teacher says writers are very, 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 very busy trying to write their words, and the phone is ringing, and the fax is going, and the bills need paying, and sometimes they get sick. I hope you are not sick, Mr. Walter Dean Myers. Or their family gets sick, or their electricity goes off, or the car needs fixing, or they have to go to the grocery store, or do the laundry, or clean up messes. I don't know how you find the time to write your words. If you have to do all that stuff, and maybe you should get a helper. So what I am asking you is this. If you ever get time to leave your house, and if you ever feel like visiting a school where there might be some kids who like your poems, would you ever maybe think about maybe coming maybe to our school, which is a clean place with mostly nice people in it, and I think our teacher, Miss Stretchberry, would maybe even make brownies for you because she sometimes makes them for us. I hope I haven't too much stopped you from doing your writing of words and fixing your car and getting groceries and all that stuff just to read this letter, which is probably taking you maybe 15 minutes. And in that time, you could have maybe written a whole new poem, or at least the start of one. And so I'm sorry for taking up your time, and I understand if you can't come to our clean school and read some of your poems to us and let us see your face, which I bet is a friendly face. My name is Jack. Bye, Mr. Walter Dean Myers. April 20. Did you mail it? Did he answer yet?